hope that holds the phone in place. Hello. I'm really tired and exhausted. My body aches so much. Now my knee started hurting yesterday. Oh shit. That's not the best construction. Yeah. So the funny thing is, I'm very close to the airport of Bilbao again. I can see the planes coming in, and this is exactly the place where I arrived in Spain exactly 1 week ago. And you can take the car to the place where I started this hike, and you need about 80 minutes to get there. And I have been walking now, so today is day 7, for 7 days. And I haven't done anything else. I've been just on this hike. So from an objective standpoint, you could just say I'm wasting my time here. And today I'm really suffering, and I didn't record a video during the last few days. One day it was raining, and it was the day after I've done the 34 kilometers. It was the second day after that one. But I was still not able to walk really. And I did 25 kilometers, but it was more humping. It was not really walking. Yeah, I think that's the video that I made where I told you that I don't have water anymore and I'm halfway through the hike. And yeah, fortunately there were a lot of streams running through the forest, so I just picked one and just filled my bottle there. And yeah, I survived, so I'm happy about that. But you also meet people in the hostels telling you that they have diarrhea, and so yeah, I didn't take the breakfast when I heard that the guy sitting on the other side of the table had that, because that's the worst thing I think you can get, because then you don't have any water in your body anymore and you even lose it. Yeah, sitting so close to the airport, you can hear the plane actually. I was thinking, wow, you could just go to the airport and fly home, because my knee is hurting so much that I have to go very, very slow. And the girl that I made friends with on the first few days, she's hiking faster than me, and I just can't catch up with her, and I feel left behind. And basically today in the hostel I left it as the last one, and no one has passed me, so I'm really the last one, because the other hostel was 10 kilometers before, so it will probably take an hour or so, and then the people from that hostel will get me. But yeah, I feel just left behind, and there's no one that I know really that I want to connect to that's about to come. So they're all already probably a day ahead or so. And what the Camino really tells you is that you have to listen to your own body, and you have to go your own speed. It just doesn't make sense to rush, because then you will just hurt your body. And there are already people taking all kinds of painkillers every morning just to be able to do. But I think in the end, if you do that for a month, you really hurt your body, and I don't want to do that. And I talked about anger before because I did that on the last video too. So expressing or showing you how I was expressing my anger. And I think anger is really the most the emotion that's following me the most. I have so much anger inside. You wouldn't think that if I talked to you like that, and I wouldn't assume that either. But I can be angry, and I think it's really good that this anger is coming up, because I'm way too tired and way too exhausted to suppress it anymore. And when you're just hiking alone through the forest, you can be angry. There's no one around. You can put your stick on the earth and stamp your feet and say, "Argh!" So no one would care if you do that, and I do that. I don't want to give up. So I have to go slow. But I'm really not used to going slow. All my life I wanted to get somewhere. Actually, a few minutes ago when I went up this hike, I started to cry a little bit. Yeah, I was just feeling so lost and so left behind, and yeah, you wouldn't expect to do a hike and get so emotional about stuff. But there's nothing else you can do, and all these old memories. So every now and then there are fig trees. There are a lot of fig trees around here. You don't see them in Germany, but I have a story that involves a cafe that's called the Fig Tree Cafe, and I'm still struggling with that one. So every time I see the fig tree, I'm triggered, and I have to cope with the emotion. And but there are so many things just happening, and somehow in the past I always, if someone is coming the other way, I always smiled and I said, "Yeah, hello, how are you?" and blah blah. And I don't say how are you. No, you don't say that in German. You say hi or hello or tag. But I do this fake smile, hello. But I don't do this anymore here. I noticed that this morning because I'm too tired. I don't have the energy to use my muscles that way, and somehow at some point in time you just stop caring about other people, because that would also involve spending energy on things that are not important. When you do this hike, you really have to save your every bit of energy that you can to make it through. And I'm so impressed. Well, I would call myself to be athletic. I have been doing sports all my life, so I thought that this would be easier. So yesterday in the hostel, I arrived and I was told, okay, that's your bed. It was just beside another man's bed who was just like a bear, very big, and he was from Spain. Actually, you don't meet too many people from Spain who are doing these hikes. Most people are Germans, French, Dutch, from the UK, Americans, some Australians I met this morning, but you don't meet many people from Spain itself. So I was surprised, and I learned a little Spain. Well, I forgot most of it. I was pretty okay with Spanish, but I learned Spain. Did I say I learned Spanish? I didn't learn Spain. I learned Spain, and I was pretty good at. Oh my God! I learned Spanish, and I was pretty good at Spanish. but I forgot so much that it's really embarrassing when I speak Spanish now. So this guy's English was even worse than my Spanish, so we gave it a try, and he told me that he did the Camino Frances, which is the Camino that most people are doing. It's a little bit further south because his wife, they had a divorce and they had 2 children, and his boy, he doesn't want to speak to him anymore, so he was really struggling in his life. He's just 3 years older than me, and he nearly started crying. You see these people they're just like bears. You think they're just like a rock, nothing can harm them, and the Camino really breaks everyone, and you just have to give up your ego, and you have to open your heart, and he was nearly crying to me, and just a man that I never met, and I probably wouldn't have talked to in normal conditions. But I think he actually had a nice heart, and a heart of gold, maybe. Juan. And that's the story that I wanted to tell. I was surprised that he could make it because he was pretty fat, and I'm really impressed by his will, by his determination to do it. But he also told me that he had psychotherapy and stuff going on, but he said the Camino is the best therapist you can get, and I begin to believe it, to be honest. Yeah, I was thinking to do 30 kilometers today, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. The thing is, the next city I'm going through is Bilbao, which is one of the biggest ones that I'm going to pass. And there is a football game tonight, 2 English teams. I think it's a final game, UEFA or something. So it was pretty hard. That's what the other pilgrims say, to find places to stay. So I was thinking, okay, then you have to hike through Bilbao to the next hostel, which is after Bilbao, and that would be 30 kilometers. But I'm not sure if that's possible for me today. Hola. Oh. You see my fake smile. I did it. Shit. Yeah, so I'm not sure where I'm gonna sleep tonight, and I stopped worrying about it because it has worked out until now, and I think it will work out. And this morning, there's a mountain biker coming, and I'm sitting right in the way. I'm not sure if he can pass me. I think he should be able to. So this morning I hiked for 2 hours or so, and it was just beside a pretty big road. There was no shade at all, and a lot of traffic, and just through industrial areas. It was so ugly. I would say that was the ugliest part of the whole hike so far, and this didn't make it easier to overlook the pain in my knee, and I think I have to move a little bit because there's another cyclist coming. Does it work? Why is there so much traffic right here? Before that no one came, and now there's so much going on. Hola. I need my stick. Sorry for this interruption, but that's live. That's live TV. Yeah, I think I'm going to tell you a beautiful story that happened yesterday, because yesterday I was feeling pretty good. there was a Dutch girl that stayed with me in the hostel, and even though we didn't started hiking together, I met her along the way a few times, and so we just started talking a little bit. And it's so interesting that when you meet people here along the Camino, you don't know how long you will stay with them, how much time you can spend, how much you get to talk to each other. So you don't, when the people are, you notice the people are on the same wavelength, you don't start doing small talk for hours, and you really cut through to the chase and get to the point. And I think that's really, really nice. So I opened up about stuff about my life that I'm struggling with, or that I have been through and I'm not so proud of. And I played a song to her that I wrote and that I sang on the recording. And she was walking behind me listening to that song. And when the song was over, I looked back to her and she was crying. So she was so moved by the song that she started crying. And that really touched my heart. I think that's why I want to write songs, because I want to inspire other people, and I want to have a connection just from heart to heart, from soul to soul. And yeah, that was just beautiful. But she is faster than me too today. I thought I would meet her again, but you never know. And you have to be okay with everything. And I think the one thing that the Camino really teaches you is acceptance. Yeah. I think that's everything I want to share today. Well, that phone's already falling over. Thank you for staying with me, and I got some really nice comments on some of the last videos, and thank you for that. Also, someone said, okay, why don't you record the videos in German when you're German, and I am German too, so it would be way easier. But I was thinking what to reply to that, and because as I said before, if I wanted to take the easy route, I wouldn't be here. So I could take the car and do the same distance I've done in a week in an hour or so. Or I could use the 2 months that I'm off, I could fly to some nice beach hotel and spend the whole time there just hanging out on the beach and drinking, I don't know, cocktails or something. And but I think we're not here to make everything easy. I'm not sure why we're here for, but I think it's also good to suffer every now and then. And also what the Buddhist monks, the Shaolin, they do all these hard training because they say the access to higher spiritual development comes through the suffering of the body. So we will see where this is leading, but I already feel like I'm going through a transformation. Yeah. All right. Thank you again for listening, and have a wonderful day.